Lubbock Sports Open Championship match presented by Marshall Kent EJ Tackett. Marshall
Lubbock Open. It was a good time.
number 8. EJ, former champion here in Lubbock 2 years ago. And Marshall's going to start the match.
This was after spending 4 days in a row at the ITRC working on a lot of stuff. So physically, I felt pretty good throwing the ball, pretty comfortable. And first shot, obviously, looked pretty good.
But as long as they stay ahead of the transition, they should be fine. You know, one interesting thing in practice, EJ shot at the 10-pin. You only get so many practice shots. Yeah, what's he thinking there?
This is funny because EJ never takes re-racks, and he took one the first frame.
Taking a re-rack out of the gate, frame 1. Oh, you can actually see the rack from here.
So actually, the day before the tournament, EJ, obviously he likes to drive everywhere, so he was down in I think this was after Jonesboro, after the extreme stop in Jonesboro, and EJ drove to that one, and then he drove to Austin to hang out for a few days, and then he picked me up in Dallas after I was done at the training center, and we drove to Lubbock together. And then we ended up bowling for the title.
And that was the only reason why I came around the corner to leave what it did to even catch a piece of the head pin. This man here is one of the hottest players, if not the hottest player on the planet. The Squirrel. Winner in Japan, beginning of the year, then Tournament of Champions. This guy's won everything but the lottery. Oh, dirty.
This weekend was kind of crazy too, because
That was dirty. Stone 9, ball goes right.
this was the last game of match play. I'm bowling Sean, and I locked up the win against Sean, and I think I rung 10, which I actually could have gotten to the top seed if I doubled. And I leave a ring in 10, and I was a little frustrated because then also I can't get there now. So I go up and just chuck the ball at it and miss it. And apparently, to the right of me, there's two guys going big. So AJ bowled 290 to get to the step ladder, and then Craig Niderfer, I think it was Craig Niderfer, he could have doubled in the 10th to get around me as well, would have knocked me out of the step ladder. So if that happens, then I'm not even here. I think on that shot I overmoved. I think I didn't want to go high, and I think that lane hooked more in general. So I moved like 4 just to be safe, and obviously it didn't quite work out. And this is tough too, because I've been at this point in time I've been struggling with single pin spares. So every one of them I looked at, I said, "Oh goodness, don't miss." And then the match before that, I needed to make a 7-pin to beat Jacob. And, I mean, luckily I made it, but it wasn't like it was easy to stand up there and fake myself into saying, "Hey, I'm going to make this." I think I caught a handful of that one. I can't quite remember, but I think I move off of it on the next shot. Because I caught a handful of it, but it wasn't horrible. So I think that lane just started to hook that much more.
Marshall working that interchangeable thumb back and forth from strike ball to spare ball. So he's got to make an adjustment on both lanes next time up. And he's perfect on his spares.
Just got to hit the one in front. So the physical changes I've made that week in this match, I felt like I was pushing the ball literally to the right wall of the building, and I felt like my backswing was bumping out to the right wall, and it was going dead straight because of how much my swing went from out to in, how much my swing tucked. And that was one of the things I worked on all week at the ITRC was just straighten out my swing plane. And EJ throws a good shot there too. So, but and then he was bowling really well this time too. I mean, obviously he's been the hottest player on the planet for the last 3 years. So, I think he won like 7 times at this point, maybe 8. But either way, it's not like he didn't know how to win. And he's won in this building before too. That's actually this building is where he's won his first title, and I watched it. So.
Jimbo Evans and staff. I think that's the first ball call we've seen all week long that I can remember. We've been working 2 days now. I haven't seen.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. And then there's a ball return for a hot minute.
Jake, nice ball this week, buddy. Jacob 40-lane center here in Lubbock. The staff, Jimbo Evans, Summer Evans, done a great job as always. This is no time for a rain delay. EJ Tackett looking to double up and take a 1-pin lead and make it 11. Well, maybe the one way to beat EJ is just take his bowling ball and don't give it back.
I always enjoy bowling this event too because Jimbo Evans and Sunday are amazing hosts, and they put on a great event, and they've done it for years. So yeah, that's inopportune. Or that's bad carry because that shot's not supposed to 410. That's 4-pin at worst, and that's just a horrible break right there. One of those is supposed to fall either 4 or the 10. They just both happen to stand up, and when it happens during the week in qualifying, it's whatever. But it's in a 1-game match, and then it goes for the spare and misses. But in a 1-game match, it's huge because all of a sudden you have 9 spare, and now you've gone 8 out, and that's 14 pins right there in one shot. Made the move, made a good shot, and it worked out. Which that's huge too. It's taking advantage of the opening that your opponent gives you. So when your opponent splits, you're supposed to go up and double, and if you don't, then it's a missed opportunity. But if you can get up and throw 2 strikes after an open, then it's putting your foot on the gas. It's getting there.
How about that pin carry? Take a look at the 710 here, folks. Wow. I carried a hit like that once, and then I woke up.
That was a good bounce back from EJ.
I'll tell you, both these players are so good at creating steep angles through the front. We saw a good look there at EJ's footwork, though. The way these two guys generate power, both similar.
It's a crazy game because if he carries that hit in the 4th, all of a sudden goes from having 65 in the 4th on a strike to having a 3-bagger.
Everybody's small compared to you. You're like 6'9", 400. I mean, 6'7". But EJ gets up on his toes to get the power. We're seeing Marshall get down really deep to get his power. So it'll come from different parts of their body, really utilizing that core. Another 7-pin.
That happens.
Wow. This is just dirty pool right here. That pin just hangs in the gutter. And gets blocked out by something else there.
Very unfriendly. He generates it from the ground up. Marshall generates it going down. He uses his legs. Both players use their legs. He explodes up like a sprinter coming out of the blocks, right?
Looking back, he actually bowls a very solid game. This game, I mean, we talked about this a little bit afterwards too. He said he did everything he could. Like all you can do is throw it good, and after that, it's a result of round objects hitting round objects. You just never know what's going to happen. So, I mean, you can bowl an awesome game and shoot 190, or you can bowl a horrible game and shoot 260. I think I split here. Yep. That's actually a really good shot too. I remember that.
I think this looks pretty good.
Oh, and also I remember I'm wearing a tennis shoe on my right foot. I forgot about that. So I ripped my right shoe. The toe. I think the toe cap actually ripped because of how I dragged my right foot on the ground, and so I actually ripped a hole in it. And during practice at the training center that week, I scratched up my big toe a little bit on my right foot, and so I actually had to take that shoe off and use a tennis shoe in the meantime. Thankfully, I got a new pair of shoes right after this, but yeah, it didn't feel very good for a little while. So I bowled the weekend with a tennis shoe and actually practiced for the next week after that.
Real big, and we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. That wasn't me. Just didn't like the feel.
I don't remember what happened there. I think I might have dragged my toe or something, or I don't know. But in that situation, when something doesn't feel right, you don't just get up and throw it anyways. You gotta step back and reset and make sure everything's 100%. Especially in this situation when you only have one game.
Oh, and he gets that 7 out.
There you go.
I don't know why I stepped off. I think mine got a little fast with my feet after the reset, but it worked out.
That had been laid in the gutter just long enough to pop up and take that 7 off the back of the pitch. There's some pin action for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen some messengers in my day, but this is filthy. Watch how fast this messenger comes off of the left sideboard. Oh, my God.
Yeah, when your rev rate's about 580, those 10-pin scouts tend to hit a lot. And it's kind of funny how the game's changed too. Like when you got one of those 20 years ago, it was pretty rare. And now, when the scout doesn't hit, is a bad break. Oh my God. I forgot about that one.
Posted it, watched it all the way through the pins. Brutal 9-pin.
I've got nothing. I mean, I've got nothing for you there. That's, yeah, you can see his reaction.
And that was a brutal hit.
Awful break when he could have stepped up. And
it's not a good feeling either because that happens a lot when just one lane you throw it really well and it just never strikes. It's unbelievable. So this is one of those deals where you can throw it amazing for 190. You can go strike in the right lane all day, but the left lane you'll go like ring 10, stone 9, blower 7, 7-10, and you shoot 180, 190, throwing it good, instead of shooting 260 like you're supposed to.
run the risk of leaving 2-8-10, 2-4-8-10 combination. But he definitely has to make a move.
Yeah, I think I moved 2 or 3 more off the split. And it still almost went high. The lane just started hooking a bunch.
He gets up and executes perfectly.
233 possible Marshall Kent.
And in this building, it was kind of weird because the lane surfaces are a little older, so there's a little more friction. But we threw super strong balls the entire time. Like I think I threw this Alpha Crux all of but 2 games.
I'm still leading. Mistakes. Randy 2. Craig 1. 2-1. All right.
It was the quicker response, the cleaner and quicker response bowling balls didn't quite match up the right way.
Marshall Kent has positioned himself to win for the first time ever.
That hit was huge.
A singles event in the States.
I remember thinking throw a good shot here because that was
He is now in the 2 teams.
almost to put the match away,
As you said,
kind of.
EJ Tackett's max score 205. It's not very often you get a match where it's fairly low scoring and this entertaining.
EJ's made some great shots on lane 19 and has got absolutely nothing to show for it.
Really?
Doesn't make him any happier.
So
Now I'll watch this again. EJ actually bowled a really solid game. Like that was,
So watch this, ring at 10, and then UPS comes over and takes the 10 out.
this was 240, 250 material. But now he's trying to double in the 10th for 2-0.
UPS, messenger,
I got it.
work with me.
I'm with you.
Big shot here. Oh my goodness. You know, it's so
This is one of those deals where
watch EJ Tackett have
when it's not going your way, it just doesn't go your way. Because that hit's kind of the epitome of his game. This game, like I said, he bowled an awesome game. Just did not get any sort of love at all. Except for the first one in the 10th where he sent the scout. But that was, I mean, he kind of deserved that one after the crappy breaks he had. And that one puts it away. And that felt really good because I hadn't won a singles title in a while. And actually, that was the first singles titles in the States. My first one was in Saudi Arabia. And we won the team deal together. And then I hadn't won a regional title either in a while. So that one felt really good. And then 2 weeks later, I won in Oklahoma. So it was a solid summer, to say the least.
Puts up the 233-194 victory.